we're just gonna go jump in, I guess. I am gonna be using fake names because just for the privacy of these people, because this story isn't about them, it's about me and my experience. And plus these people are fake friends anyways, so I might as well use fake names to honor these people and their fake values. I was invited to go to Florida by two of my friends, Allie and Emily. They have a house in Florida. I was invited to spend a week there during spring break. I agreed. I thought, that sounds awesome. Allie and Emily also have a brother named Dan. Allie, Emily, and Dan are triplets, so they're all the same age, because that's how that works. And so we're all in the same grade. And I found out that a kid named Billy would also be in Florida because he also has a house in Florida. And unfortunately, Billy and I do not have a great relationship because Billy is disrespectful and rude, and I called him out on it, and he didn't like it. Billy kind of got to just paint this picture of me as someone that I wasn't, and nobody really bothered to get to know me, or the people that did know me let his vision of me become their vision because they can't think for themselves. Billy and Dan get to talking because they're pretty good friends, and they both agree that I shouldn't come to Florida. And I confront both of them because I just don't understand, like, being fake, and I don't understand talking about somebody when they're not around. Billy admitted it, and it led to me and him arguing at each other and yelling at each other in the hallway for like 10 minutes. And then when I confronted Dan, he denied it. And because I was such good friends with Allie and Emily, his sisters, and I felt like Dan and I were pretty cool, I just wanted to believe that he wouldn't do that, even though Billy had basically confirmed that they both were doing it. I just was like in denial, and so I was like, whatever. So I left it alone. And a few weeks pass. I find out that a mutual friend named Jake is having a party that I haven't been invited to. I'm not in the group chat. I didn't know anything about it until Emily, like, accidentally let it slip. And, or maybe she I don't know. And I knew Jake was honestly only throwing this party because he wanted to get one of my friends drunk enough to convince her to hook up with him. So I wasn't even really into the idea of going. Still, I learned that the reason I had not been invited was because Billy insisted that I didn't go. And then Jake tells me that the reason I haven't been invited is because, yes, Billy doesn't want me there. But none of the guys want me there because all of the guys have agreed that I start problems, that if there's a problem, I'm always in the middle of it, and that they just don't want that there. And Jake tells me that I can come. He wants me to come. However, if there are any problems and I am there, and I'm in the middle of them, then I have to leave. You're going to tell me all these people don't like me. All of these teenage guys don't like me. And if any of them bother me and I stand up for myself, I have to leave. Why are these teenage guys, multiple teenage guys, so threatened by the presence of one girl? Maybe it's important to mention that all of these guys are white. Yeah, it is. I did eventually decide to go because Jake apologized and he said he felt bad, and that he said that if any of these guys bothered me, then he'd defend me and, like, he'd handle it. And I thought, okay, whatever, you know. And all of my friends that were girls wanted me to go, and I just thought, you know what, I should go. I should prove a point and just go. So I went. Billy was there. There were no problems. Allie was pressuring me to apologize to Billy because she just didn't want there to be any issues in Florida, and she said that was the best way to appease him and make him feel better. I'll be putting text sheets up here, so. And Allie honestly made me feel like I had to because her family was helping me fly down. They were giving me a place to stay. And when I told her that I was just uncomfortable with the whole situation and the whole trip, she told me that I had a pretty good deal, so I really shouldn't complain. And I thought, so I'm not your charity case? Like, you're giving me a handout? Like, and the least I can do is apologize to someone who doesn't deserve it? I felt really obligated to do it. And I attempted to, and he just totally dismissed me and brushed me off and ignored me when I tried to talk to him. And then Allie tells me that Billy and Dan were laughing about it.
This is me later, obviously, but I just want to add that Allie also told me that this same day, Billy told Dan that if we were in Florida and we were all hanging out at Billy's house and I did something that he didn't like, Billy would kick me out of his house. And Billy also told Dan that he wouldn't even let me in the door.
I even texted Billy on Snapchat asking to talk, and he never opened it. And like a whole 3 days passed and he never opened it. And then I eventually just blocked him. And but the day after this, my mom calls his mom, who we're gonna call Karen, and I'm choosing to call her Karen for a reason. Karen is immediately on defense. She's immediately rude and disrespectful, just like her son, so it's very clear where he gets it from. She says she doesn't raise her kids to be racist. My mom didn't even imply that Karen was racist. She doesn't raise her kids to be racist, so that can't be it. And she has black friends, and she was raised by a black woman who helped her family. And my mom says, it sounds like that woman was a servant. And Karen says, she wasn't a servant in my heart. I'm just gonna let that sit for a second. She wasn't a servant in my heart. My mom kind of just like puts Karen in her place because she needed it. Then an hour or so passes. Billy's family, like I said, is really close with Allie and Emily's family. So I don't think it's a coincidence that like an hour or so later, after my mom talks to Karen, Allie and Emily and Dan's mom, who we're going to call Kim, calls. I know for a fact Karen called Kim and complained about whatever my mom said that upset her. So Kim basically says she does not think it's a good idea for me to come on the trip because they invited me, so they want me to be comfortable and have fun and feel included. And she also literally says to my mom that they're actually giving discounts because of the coronavirus, so they might refund my ticket, my $500 ticket. And we actually ended up getting a refund, but still, that's just not cool to say. I'm sorry. Then I get to school Monday. I am not in a good mood. You can imagine. I'm irritated. And Emily talks to me and she says that her parents felt like it wasn't a good idea for me to come and put me in a situation where I'd be around drunk teenage guys that were messing with me. There's so much wrong with that sentence. For them to be concerned that multiple guys who might be intoxicated will bother me and harass me on a trip where parents might not always be around, that's just really unsettling. And I think it's insane that parents could even send their daughters on a trip where they're even concerned of that possibility. And I thought that was disgusting and nasty, because it is. All this happened the last week of high school. Nobody knew it would be the end of it because of the pandemic and everything. None of my friends were even talking to me after that. They all just kept looking at me, but nobody was talking to me. They were only talking about me. And also, I wouldn't have wanted them to talk to me anyways, because none of them stood up for me throughout this whole thing. They just watched it happen.
I did have one friend who wasn't even going on the trip that at least cared enough about me to write an email on my behalf to Karen and Kim. A lot of my friends that I considered myself to be very close with that were going on the trip didn't say anything to Billy or Karen, and as far as I know, they all still went and hung out at Billy's house.
And that's what people mean when they say silence is violence. People were complacent, and the people that were complacent and knew all this was happening and didn't do anything, I think are just as bad as the people that played active roles in it. If I talked about you in this video and you have a problem with anything I've said, too bad, because I told the truth. So if you take issue with anything, take issue with your own behavior and what you did and reflect on it. I don't hate anybody. I don't even hate Billy or Karen. I don't hate anybody that I've talked about, anybody involved. I can't say I respect them or trust them, but I don't hate anybody. I've graduated since then. I've moved on. But that doesn't mean it's not still in my mind. And I felt like I never addressed it the way I needed to. So, and I believe in holding people accountable. And I believe in justice. And I think I should practice what I preach. And I think that obviously this is not to spread hate or anything, because then I'd be a hypocrite and then I'd be just as bad as them. And I really just hope that, like I said, they can reflect on how they treated me, because how you treat people matters. It matters. And I hope that we can all move on and we can all learn something from this, and that we can all do better, because there's always room for growth. Okay, that's it. All right. Bye.